Hey Derek, how are you doing today?
Hey, Kirsten.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I am good.
Awesome. All right. Just clear. It is Kirsten, correct?
Correct.
Okay, awesome. Just want to make sure.
And just to also clarify, are you starting the webinar and going from there? Do you need me to do anything in terms of introducing anything?
I'll ask just some questions. I need to make sure how to pronounce our last names and so forth. And then when we're ready, I will throw it to you and you can let me know when we're started.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that was one of my questions during this time, like when people are coming in. Are we live to the people who are listening, or will we actually have to go live, quote unquote?
I honestly don't know. I have
Okay.
very little information on this. I do know that we are recording as of right now, but I also think that they just start the recording period, and then
Yeah.
we'll cut things out as needed. So
Okay.
I think and I don't know if the there's anything in terms of people have to be let in starting at 4, if clients can enter early, or if I'm opening a waiting room. I'm going to keep an eye on that. If this is set up,
Oh,
let's see, I think this is set up as a webinar.
yeah.
So oh, that's perfect. So I don't know if it like opens at 4 o'clock exactly for attendees.
I see. I see.
But I will let you know if I will keep an eye on like participants, anything like that. Um, and I will let you know
All
when
right. Looks like
we are live, because I think it does seem like people are able to attend. Are um,
okay.
unless Angela, are you one of the panelists?
Say again.
This is Kirsten. Are you one of the panelists?
I'm sorry, I have speech. Okay, I'm sorry. One more time. Am I
No.
what?
Are you one of the panelists?
I am. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yes, I am.
perfect.
I, it's just speech happening over top of you. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, no, no.
Hi, Angela. This is Eric. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing really well. How are you?
Good. Um, quick question. I don't know if it's on my end. I'm getting some breakup. Is anybody else hearing that?
I was getting breakup earlier to you. I missed something that you were saying earlier, Derek.
Well, that's not good. Kirsten, are you able to hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly now.
Okay. I'm, I don't know if it's my internet. I've had some issues in the past with it, so.
Hmm.
Okay. Angela, can I confirm how you pronounce your last name?
Crystal. Just like
Cr-
sugar, crystal.
Crystal. Okay. I thought it was Crystal, but I wasn't 100% sure. So always better to check.
Yes.
Okay, Crystal. All right. Then it looks like we have Rosa, is that correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Hi, Rosa. This is Derek. How are you tonight?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Good. A couple of questions for you. First
Mhm.
of all, can you tell me how to pronounce your last name?
Calderon.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit of breakup. Can you repeat that?
Calderon.
Kirsten, are you hearing that breakup or is that just me?
Sorry, I also was just muted. No, I'm not hearing any breakup on Rosa or on Angela earlier.
Yeah, that must be me. I'm getting just some like, in there. Um, yeah, I'm sorry, Rosa. I'm going to ask you to repeat. Is it hard C sound or soft?
Um,
Sorry,
Calderon.
is it
Calderon. Yeah,
Calderon?
Calderon. Yeah,
O, long O.
Calderon. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Let me make sure how my thing's going to pronounce it. And what is the name of your guide dog?
Gemstone.
Gemstone. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
I like it. Gemstone. And then Calderon. So Gemstone, Calderon.
Yeah.
Okay. That we can do. Okay. And then let's see here. And then it looks like we have Christy as well. Christy, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. And I apologize. I have Vonnie right next to me, and he's going to town on a nylon. So if you hear weird noises, sorry about that.
Everybody in here will totally be used to that. So, Christy, can you tell me how to pronounce your last name?
Bruchak?
Is it brew check or chalk?
Chalk, like chalk on a
Chalk.
chalkboard. Yeah.
Chalk on a
Bruchak.
chalkboard. Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Brew chalk. Brew chalk. Okay. I like to get names right if I can. Chalk. Okay. Give me just one moment and we'll go over how things are going to go here in just a minute.
And Derek, it does seem like people are able to join just as they come in, but because it's a webinar, everybody is muted. So I'll give you the go ahead at 4, but we'll be good to jump right
Awesome.
in.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've got all the names correct now. If anyone's listening, we're just going through. We'll get started here in just a few minutes. For our panelists, we'll go in order, and as I throw you the questions, it'll be Rosa, then Angela, and then Christy, and I'll try to keep it in that order so everybody knows, which way we're going to go. But after each person is done speaking, I will come back and say, okay, great, and then throw it to the next person so you don't have to guess, is it my turn? Is it not my turn? That sort of thing. So I will handle all of that, but just wanted to give you a heads up. We'll probably do Rosa, Angela, and then Christy. All right. Got about 5 minutes, well, maybe 4 minutes or so. Rosa, where are you located? You don't have to give specifics, but where generally are you located?
Southern California.
Oh, SoCal.
Mm-hmm.
I had a whole big discussion with Claire Stanley, who's on our board, about how in Southern California you say the word "the" for the highways, like the 405.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Angela, whereabouts are you located?
I'm in southeastern Minnesota.
Ooh, Minnesota. Is it starting to get cold up there?
It is, yes.
All
It's
right.
actually not cold, but yeah, we're dropping down in the 30s overnight. So
Oh yeah. I'm in Indiana myself, central Indiana, and we're already starting to get down there. So,
yeah.
and then Christy, what about you? Where are you at?
I am in Washington and we are officially in rainy season, and I am learning that Vonnie does not like to get wet. I didn't know that was a thing for labs, but
You know what? I've had 3 labs and none of them have liked water. So,
Oh wow.
what are you, Washington State?
yes, yeah, sorry.
What whereabouts? North,
But
south?
an hour north of Seattle,
Okay.
Puget Sound.
My my guide dog's puppy raiser's from Seattle. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah. And Frasier is my favorite television show. So clearly I know a lot about Seattle.
Oh, that's hilarious. I've been catching up on all the Frasier seasons. I'm starting season 7. I've been kind of
I think
addicted the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think my family and I have watched it. Oh gosh, we've lost track how many times we've seen these episodes
Oh, that's
now.
too
So,
funny.
yeah. Christy, your canine buddy's name is Vonnie with a V, like vacuum.
Yep.
Okay.
VONNY.
VONNY. Awesome.
It is 4 o'clock, Derek, so feel free to get started whenever you would like. I know we have some people that are just starting to join, so if you want to wait at all a minute or so, you're welcome to, or you're welcome to jump right in now.
Yeah, I say let's give them another 30 seconds, 45 seconds here, and then we'll get started.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks for watching that time. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I probably at some point will be like, hey, how's the time? Because I can go all night. So.
I hear you.
All right. Well, I've got 701 here in the Eastern time zone. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with our speaker series tonight. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. So glad that you all are here. Welcome to tonight's GDB speaker series. My name is Derek Daniel. I'm a proud member of the Alumni Association board. And we are so excited to have each and every one of you. I'll be your host tonight, and I'm joined by Kirsten French, who's handling all the tech aspects of things, and our chat room, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. So glad that Kirsten's here, and I'm sure you'll hear from her here in just a little bit. Tonight, our program is all about the programs of GDB, our guide dog program, our OMI, or Orientation and Mobility program, and then, of course, our Canine Buddy program as well. And we are excited to welcome three panelists, one from each program, to talk about those tonight. And I'll be introducing them here in just a moment. As we get started, there is a chat where you can talk to others and, more importantly, put in questions that you might have for our panelists. So if you want to jump into that chat, type away. Kirsten is going to keep an eye on that, and we'll go to the chat here in a little bit to see if there's any questions or comments that need to be mentioned, because they're so wonderful. We want to make sure to get all of your comments and questions. Like I said, my name is Derek. I'll be your host tonight, and we're so excited to have three panelists with us. And so I want to take just a minute to introduce them, and then we'll jump into some questions. So first of all, graduating from our guide dog program with her first guide dog gemstone, we have Rosa Calderon. Hi, Rosa. How are you doing tonight?
Hello, I'm doing great.
Awesome. Well, we're so glad to have you. Again, she's representing our guide dog program. And then a graduate from our OMI program, we have Angela Crystal. Hi, Angela. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Derek. Glad to be here tonight.
Absolutely. And with her canine buddy, Vani, we have Christy Bruchak. Hi, Christy. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks.
Awesome. And I understand Vani is chowing down on an Isla bone, so we might hear Vani in the
There he is.
background.
Yes, he is a very happy pup.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, that is our panelists. So again, if you have any thoughts or questions, please put those in the chat, and we'll come back to that chat here in just a little bit. All right, folks, well, let's just jump right into things representing our programs. We're going to ask some questions and let our panelists discuss those questions and find out more about their experience with the different programs of guide dogs for the blind. So we're going to start with Rosa. Rosa, here's your first question. Tell us a little bit about yourself. This is, again, just sort of a brief bio. You don't have to go too deep, but give us a little bit about who you are.
Hello, my name is Rosa. I am 21. I am a full-time college student. My major is in English education. I love going on hikes. I love going outdoors, exploring new places, going to coffee shops, hanging out with friends. And yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. Next up, we have Angela. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
Yes, hello. Yes, I am Angela. I'm here in Minnesota. I have had a busy and active career working primarily with organizations that serve people with disabilities. The past 16 years has been with people who specifically are going through vision loss or sight loss. My background educationally is a double major in ethnic studies and sociology, as well as a rehabilitation counselor's master's, where I've also taught at the college level. I'm currently kind of semi-retired, but looking to be back, probably busy because I don't think I can last sitting too long. But I have a lot of hobbies. I love music. I love to go to the theater, plays and musicals. Love to be in nature and hiking and that sort of thing. So stay pretty busy that way.
Awesome. Sounds exciting. Thanks so much for sharing that. And then we'll go to Christy. Give us a little bit about yourself as well.
Hi, I'm Christy. I am currently a stay-at-home mom to a 5 and 7-year-old boy. But in my time before kids, I did a lot of adventuring, a lot of rock climbing, mountain climbing, backpacking through Asia and the Middle East a bit. And my husband, who's also legally blind, we did a tandem bike ride from North Carolina to, no, from California to North Carolina, and then from Argentina to Alaska. So just a little bit of adventuring. So it's a really different life that I have now, but I still enjoy running and audiobooks.
So you rode a bike from one side of the country to the other. Is that what you said?
Yeah, first. And then when we realized we could do it, then we went from the bottom of South America to the top of North America. That was probably almost 15 years ago.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Well, thank you all so much for telling us a little bit about yourself. Always good to know more about the folks that we're hearing from. So we're going to head into our next question. And this question is, what made you decide to participate in your program? What made you decide to participate in your program? So Rosa, we'll toss it to you.
Yeah, so once I found out that I would be able to get a guide dog if my cane skills were good, I set my sight on that. That was my goal. So ultimately, I practiced and practiced and did everything that I could within my orientation and mobility to get to that point. So once I was able to, kind of navigate independently with a cane, is when I was like, I am very, very, very positive that I want to get a guide dog. So ultimately, it's just that sense of independence, being able to, navigate essentially more safely with a guide dog. And that was ultimately what led me to want to get a guide dog and go to this program.
Awesome. I forgot to have you introduce your dog. Could you give your dog's name and a
Oh,
little bit
yes.
about it?
My guide dog's name is Gemstone. She's 3 years old and she is a black lab.
Wonderful. Shout out to the Black Labs out there. Awesome. Awesome. Angela, next question to you. What made you decide to participate in your program?
Um, in a nutshell, kind of answer would be just I needed to feel safe again. Although I've lived my entire life with vision loss and that changing throughout my life. About a year and a half ago, I lost all of my vision in a matter of less than 24 hours. So that catapulted me into a whole new living experience, which was very scary and I was very fearful. And even though I'd worked in the field for many years, I didn't practice maybe what I preached so much for myself. And my big goal was to get back to active living and doing so independently. And last spring, I just came home one day and said, maybe I do want to go out and consider a dog guide as well. But I definitely, like Rosa was saying, I needed to work on making sure I could travel independently again and felt safe crossing roads, that sort of thing.
Hey, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that and being a little bit vulnerable with us. We really appreciate that. And of course, we're all sort of in that boat from time to time. We want to keep working on our skills, whether it's with a cane or a guide dog. So thanks for sharing that. And then, Christy, we'll throw it to you. What made you decide to participate in your program?
Well, I've always wanted a dog, and I finally reached a point in my life where I felt settled enough. I mean, I mentioned we did a lot of traveling and things. It's not really dog friendly activities that we were doing. Um, but everyone in my life just kind of always assumed I would get a guide dog, but I knew that wouldn't be right for me because, well, I always kind of had a hard time identifying as blind because I do use a lot of the vision that I do have, I use quite a bit. Um, However, the reality is that I really am blind, and I would have definitely, had I embraced that sooner, I would have gotten a dog guide, I'm sure, much sooner, especially in college. that would have been incredibly helpful. I overnight also lost all of the vision in one of my eyes, which was my dominant eye, and that would have been very useful. And when I decided that I was planning to get a dog, I did not realize that canine buddies were available to grown-ups, which was a really happy discovery for me. I was just perusing the guide dog website, just kind of wondering, you know, I had previously gotten on a wait list. That's probably an infinite wait list of just in case there's any dogs that need to be adopted out, I would be willing to adopt one. And then lo and behold, there's a canine buddy program. So that's kind of how I found this path.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that. That's wonderful. So we have three different panelists with three different stories on how they came to participate in their program. And that's like with all of us, we're all from a different place and coming at it from different ways. Maybe we recently lost our sight. Maybe we've been visually impaired for a long time, but we've all got different backgrounds that bring us all together for these programs. So I want to head on to our next question. And this is kind of a big question, and I don't want you to feel like you have to give every single detail, but I'd like you to give us a bird's eye view of your program experience from application to graduation, from the time you started until you received, that wonderful moment of walking across the stage or receiving your dog or having a new experience, whatever it was for you. I'd love the bird's eye view. So, Rosa, again, we'll start with you.
One thing I love about the program is the applying was super smooth. Like the application process went super smoothly, contacting everything, getting all the paperwork that I needed, up to the in-person kind of assessment. Everything went smoothly. Everybody at GDB was amazing, up to the the day that I went to receive training. That those 2 weeks went super smooth. Everybody was so accommodating and kind. And really, I hear a lot of people say 2 weeks is very, like, that's a lot. That's like very little time. But I felt like everything that I needed to know was spaced out evenly. The staff was amazing. The way they taught me how to handle a guide dog, how to, the new commands that I was learning, how to bond with my guide dog was all very, very precisely explained, and it was overall a good experience. The whole for me, everything went super smoothly, which was something I was really happy about. Um, I'm sure just with anything in general, I was super nervous for everything. And it felt great to be there and learn things that I needed to learn with my dog. And um, it was just amazing. And I got matched with such an amazing dog. So the program was very smooth. Um, Personally, it was great.
Wonderful. Now, Rosa, when did you go to class, if I may ask?
I was in class March of 2023. It feels like such a long time ago. I'm pretty sure it was 24 actually. March of 24.
March of 24.
Yeah.
Wonderful. It's so interesting that you mentioned about the 2 weeks, people saying that's a long time. Having my first guide dog well over 20 years ago, it used to be, and several schools still do this, it was 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so it's a month-long process. That, to me, is a long time. I love the 2 weeks. And so I love that you mentioned that, Rosa. I'm so glad that everything went so smoothly for you from application all the way through graduation. All right, Angela, same question to you. Give us that bird's eye view of your experience.
All right. So when I had made the decision that I wanted to get out and start being busy, I had gained some of my vision back after several ups and downs, multiple surgeries in a short window of time. I was tired of being at home and scared of leaving my own place by myself. So when I made that decision and I called up Guide Dogs for the Blind, I had a wonderful person that was there and ready to help. And I talked through my situation, and what I was thinking. And while I had an idea that someday I wanted a dog guide, I've had that thought for many years. I just knew that there were things I needed to do before I could get to that point. So she talked me through both programs, and I put in my application. She filled it all out for me right then and there. That was this last March, the beginning part of March. I got all my paperwork and stuff submitted, and probably heard back. I heard back from the next person in like 3 weeks, and then from that point, I got all the paperwork and stuff that I needed to get submitted to her. And then it came down to, I think, a call in June. So what, 2, 3 months later. And I said I would be ready to go anytime in the fall. I had pretty much booked up my plans through the summer, and lo and behold, they got me scheduled, and I did my O&M instruction September 14th through the 21st. I've just highly appreciated that one-on-one immersion piece. I needed that focus and that little journey with that one-on-one expertise. And yeah, that's my graduation was then on the 20th, I think, of September. And here I am now. I just reached out to Megan again yesterday, and I am scheduled with her on Monday to, go the next step with the dog guide. I got back into my community and feel like I'm doing things more independently and more safely, and my confidence level is, catapulting me to that next step.
Oh, that is awesome to hear, Angela. Thanks so much for sharing that. Such a wonderful story. You said you went in September. May I ask where you went for your program?
I went to the Boring, Oregon campus. I
Wonderful.
was very open to whatever opened up first, and I think that helped get me going a little bit quicker too, I guess.
Yes, I think that openness, that willingness. Rosa, I didn't ask you. Can you tell me where you went for training?
San Rafael campus.
Awesome. Thank you again, Angela, for sharing that. Such good stuff. I love the part where you just were like, you know what? I need a little more support. I'm going to reach out, just take that first step. And so often we just need to do that. We just need to take that first step. And there are people out there who are willing to help. All right. So Rosa, Angela, and now we'll throw it over to Christy. Give us that bird's eye view of your program.
Yeah, so once I discovered that I was able to apply for a canine buddy, which was just the most exciting thing to discover, I just immediately filled out the application, and then it was kind of like a hurry up and wait. Um, I waited probably about 2 months before I ended up having a home visit. So it probably wasn't that long before I initially heard back from Becky. It turned out anytime I received any kind of email or phone call from Becky, it was like the heavens opening, like little angels were singing around me because I was so excited for this. Um, but I kept having this little voice in the back of my head, like, oh, this can't be for me. This can't be for me. Just because I've always wrestled with the idea that like I, my whole identity as a blind person, which is really hilarious because I really can't see. But it was very exciting for me, just the whole process. So when Toby came and did the home visit, it mostly involved just sitting at our table and asking me a bunch of questions while my younger son was climbing all over me and climbing all over the table. I think it got noted that I have a high energy child, which is similar to a dog. I describe him as my husky. And then we went for a little walk outside, and I still had this voice in my back of my head, like, oh, he's gonna think that like I'm not actually blind, which is just kind of ridiculous. But that was constantly in my head. And then it was about 3 more months before I officially got accepted to the program, and put onto a wait list and told that I would be paired within a year. Um, and then the waiting continued, and the waiting and the waiting and the waiting. And then all of a sudden, everything happened at once. So just this past April, I got an email that was super exciting saying that they found a dog that seemed to be a good match for me. And he very much is very high energy dog, or happy to just completely chill with a bone as he's doing right now, which it suits me very well. So then from then it was within a month, and then Jamie came to introduce me to Vani, and she spent a whole day with me teaching me basically how to care for a pup.
That is terrific, Christy. I love that you talk about your identity piece of it. Like, oh, I hope they're going to think I'm not blind, or is my identity as a blind person? And so often, especially if you have low vision and you're legally blind, I know I face this myself. We have that identity crisis, and we all go through that. And again, I just point out that all these panelists have different stories and different backgrounds, but it's such a wonderful place to come together here at GDB, because though we're all different backgrounds, we have a beautiful story to tell. Thank you so much for sharing that bird's eye view. We're going to pause here for just a second. I'm going to throw it over to Kirsten and see, do we have any questions or comments in the chat that you would care to mention?
Yeah, now that you all have talked about that bird's eye view of the program, and maybe covering this more later, but how has your life changed since coming home from the program?
Yeah, so I think I don't know if we're going to handle that necessarily later, but we'll go ahead and handle it now because, hey, we are go with the flow on this one. I will throw it to Rosa. Rosa, how has your life changed since coming home from your program?
My life has changed immensely since coming home. At first, it was kind of creating that bond between me and Gemstone. But as we've worked more and more together, and I've had her for about a year and a half, so our bond is extra strong now. But my life has changed immensely from being able to travel more independently, being able to um, navigate the busy streets, because currently I'm living in Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is a very big city with a lot of transportation. So we're always on the metro buses or the metro trains, and it can get very hectic, but Gemstone does great with weaving me through people, making sure I don't run into people, finding me a seat on the busy train, finding me the stairs, the exits. So especially now that I'm living in LA, my life is very hectic, and Gemstone is kind of like that calm. Also, Gemstone not only is a guide dog, but she's my companion, so she's always there, and I love having her um, being able to guide me safely through LA. So my life has changed immensely.
Oh, wonderful. I love hearing about that calm companion. And I'm
Hmm.
just picturing gemstones like getting you to the seat, getting you to the exit, but not only getting you there and doing great work, but being that companion that you really need. So I love hearing that. Thanks for sharing that, Rosa. All right, Angela, same question to you. How has your life changed since you've come from your program, which was pretty recently, but I'd love to hear from you on this one.
Yeah, from completing my program, I've had a couple more opportunities to do some traveling. And there have been times where I've been in the airport by myself, and that's just a kind of a scary situation anyway. Maybe not so much scary, but it causes me a little bit of anxiety, but I've been able to manage that better. And then just getting back home, I'm leaving my home now. I'm going places by myself, although I had started doing a lot more with friends and people and being out in the community and doing things and traveling. I wasn't doing those things by myself. So what I gained was, knowing when I went through the immersion program, and having that assistance with Kai as my O&M instructor, and just really learning that, I had skills. They weren't all gone. I had good orientation, and just I needed to trust it. And so when I came home and I got back out there and started doing things, and it wasn't perfect, right? I ran into situations, but I was able to overcome them. And I still have a little anxiety in certain areas with busier areas, such as what Rosa was just talking about. But I would say the biggest thing is just it's really boosted my confidence, and I've definitely become more independent again, which I really appreciate myself, because that's who I am. And it's good to have that again. And it's good to really feel the anxieties have gone down, because I've never lived an anxiety-filled life until about, this last year and a half. So I'm feeling much better about that.
Oh, thanks for sharing that. That is terrific to hear, because I totally get it. And I'm sure any visually impaired person who's in an airport on their own knows exactly what you feel. I'd probably use the word scary for sure. It's chaos out there. And so I love how you talked about I was doing things, but I was with others, which is, good, but doing things on your own is so, so important and having that independence. So thanks for sharing that, Angela. That's wonderful. And then, Christy, we'll throw it over to you. How has your life changed since getting Vonnie?
Well, having this representative of guide dogs with me at all, well, not at all times, but a lot, forces me to identify as blind because all of my neighbors who see me walking him assume that he's a guide dog, even though I'm like, no, he's chasing a bunny right now. Is definitely not guiding me anywhere. But it's really helpful. I can't relate to what it must be like to have never lived an anxiety-filled life, but um, to have Vonnie, because he's just always there for me, it is very stressful as a vision impaired person, just trying to get places. Like transportation is the number one struggle, right? And having kids and getting them places puts a lot of extra pressure, and it can be really challenging. But whenever I need a hug, I've got this cute little pup just ready to be there for me. So it's super helpful. It's interesting because if I had gone down this road earlier, like say how Rosa's doing in college, I probably would have set my life up pretty differently. But the main reason I wouldn't take a guide dog right now is because I've set up my existence in a neighborhood that's pretty walkable, so I don't really have to go anywhere. So then a dog wouldn't get any use of any kind of skills. So this guy's getting a little bit lazy.
Awesome. Hey, I heard from all three of you, this was the theme, I think, was that it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have challenges anymore, but what it does mean is that it helps you face those challenges in whole new ways, whether it's learning your O&M skills or using that guide dog or having that companion with you and giving you that boost. That is really what this is all about. Our challenges obviously don't go away, but we face them with new confidence. And that's what these programs offer us. And that's so wonderful to hear. Kirsten, anything else before we move on with our next set of questions?
No, we're good to continue on.
All right. So, our next question, we talked about the bird's eye view, sort of the general idea of your program. But I would love to hear one highlight from your program. Think back. Maybe it was a person, maybe it was an excursion, maybe it was just a moment where you connected. Whatever it might be, what is a highlight from your program? Rosa, I'll throw it to you.
One of the highlights of the program for me was getting to meet other people. We were definitely other people receiving a guide dog. We were definitely in different stages of our lives. Like um, some people in my class, it was their second guide dog. Um, and so it was just very interesting to learn about their backgrounds and get to know them. And then it was super interesting to get to see, what dogs they were paired with and how they matched their personalities and things like that. And I think that was overall one of the greatest highlights of my experience there, getting to meet others who were essentially going through the same thing, and we were all excited, we were all nervous, and it just felt good to be with other people.
Oh, I always love that. Community for GDB is so crucial. A few weeks ago, of course, we were at the reunion, and just getting to meet all the people it's so great. I always tell my wife, who is she is sighted, that when I sit next to a person and hear their phone talking out loud like mine is, it's like, oh, I'm home. This is so exciting. And so, community is one of the crucial things. I'm so glad you mentioned that, Rosa. Angela, why don't we throw it to you? What's a highlight of your program?
Gosh, it's really hard to narrow this down as one. I was thinking about that. It, I One of the funniest things, I can piggyback on Rosa too, with it, just meeting other people that were there for their dogs and watching them work as a team and as they're learning and their dogs watching them. That was a really wonderful thing, and it's nice to still have those connections from the time I was there. But one of my funniest memories is when the nurse Tony had come into my space because she was bringing me a tea kettle of warm water or to heat water for tea. They're just so kind and generous there. I can't even say enough about the program and the people. But I had all of these canes hanging on the wall because these were canes. I was trying all these different canes in different settings and stuff. So then at night we'd come back and they'd hang up on my wall. And she walked in and it was just shocking to her. And she just thought she was just so excited to see that. She had to take a picture to show other people because it was kind of like art. And just kind of going off of what Christy was saying, my whole entire life I've had issues identifying as that blind person, because I could see. And so even as I was seeing, I knew there was a lot that I was missing. And even though I was working in the field, helping other people adjust to their sight changes and their helping them to get to a place where they were building confidence. I taught a lot, I trained a lot, I counseled a lot, but I wasn't really totally living the life at home, and I wasn't always using a cane. But I can tell you, ever since the situation last spring, I've never left my home without a cane, and it's always being used. So the highlights for me would be that I actually embrace the cane, and I've tried several different canes in several different situations. And then that led also to I did do a Juno walk and was able to walk with a dog as well. And it just kind of sold me. So there's just so many highlights. It's hard to narrow it down, but.
It is hard to narrow it down. I agree. And again, thanks for that vulnerability and being honest about those kinds of things. That's awesome. Love hearing those kinds of stories. And Christy, we'll throw it to you. Give us a highlight from your program.
So for me, I just absolutely love being able to ask out for help. I mean, I wish kids came with the kind of instruction book and support that Vonnie came with. Like, this is so great. When Vonnie came here, like I said before, Jamie stayed with me for a few hours and went over, like, this is everything you do to take care of a dog, and this is how you walk the dog, and here's your commands, and oh, you might want to try this, and oh, you're doing that wrong. Let's do it this way. And it's so helpful. And even I've had to reach back out to her a couple times because he loves to chase bunnies or he likes to eat the cat's food, and it's just been so wonderful to actually get that kind of help. I mean, I one of the main reasons why I was always nervous to just go adopt a regular like rescue dog from a shelter is because when you can't see that well, I always was worried that, I don't really know what I'm doing, and maybe I won't see, like, if he's, putting something in his mouth that he shouldn't, or is he going to run away, or any of these kinds of concerns. It's just been really nice to have all of that pretty much taken care of for me.
Terrific. Terrific. Thanks for sharing that, Christy. That's wonderful to hear. All right. Well, we are just rolling right along here. And I know that you guys talked about some of the challenges that your program helped you to face and overcome. But now I want to ask you about challenges that you face. Christy, you mentioned maybe having to reach back out to someone. And of course, we have this support center and things like that. I want to ask the question, have you faced any challenges since going through your program? Maybe a challenge that you had to reach out to someone to ask a question about, or something that you had to work through and get through on the other side. So, Rosa, I'll start with you. Any challenges since coming home from your program?
Yes. Right after coming home, I'm sure for anyone and even the dogs, it was difficult for Gemstone to kind of transition to my place. And so we had a rough patch where she was kind of not performing as well and doing things that had me concerned, um, because during training everything was super smooth. So when we came home, things were kind of rocky. Um, so I reached out to Guide Dogs for the Blind. I called and we scheduled like a meeting and they came out to help me work with Gemstone because she was having trouble adjusting to the new environment. And ever since then, we worked through it. They gave me advice on how to manage these her environmental transition to a new place. And we worked through it. I got to know a lot more, and it has been great ever since. Gemstone is happy and loves to work, and it just took reaching out and having that support system, which I think is very important. Because even now, if I face any issues or if there's any challenges that come across, I know that I can reach out and Guide Dogs for the Blind will be able to help me.
That is so true. And thanks for being open and sharing that with us. I know anyone who has had a guide dog knows exactly what you're talking about, that transition period, that time where they're having to get used to things. And it's so good to have GDB there to back you up. And I love how they came out and they worked through those things with you. And it's going so well now for you. So thanks for sharing that, Rosa. That's great. Angela, let's throw it to you. Any challenges since coming home from your program?
I would say the biggest challenges that I am facing out here have been with construction. There's so much construction going on right around where I live and in the areas that I travel. And I decided didn't decide, sorry. I came back on a Sunday, and by Tuesday, I needed to make a trip down to the Mayo Clinic where I go for my ophthalmology appointments, and that's about a mile and a half from me. And I'm like, this is going to be my first independent trip. While it wasn't totally independent, I did have a friend that was with me just in case, but I was the one making all the decisions. And I had such confidence coming out of that training, like, I got this, I can do this. And I ran into a couple of snags. One just being with a crossing that was just not going to work for me to cross, and I had a way to figure it out to work around it. But then other situations where downtown and leaving there, they were I was pushing the buttons to cross, or not pushing the buttons, but wait, making those street crossings, but the lights and stuff weren't working, and I kept being told well, I was hearing this yelling to go, cross, go, and I wasn't trusting it. I'm like, because I'm trying to do this on my own, and then I finally realized that it was crossing guards that were trying to get traffic, or they were monitoring the traffic. So that was a little discombobulating. So I guess what I would just say is the challenges are, it's not perfect when you come back and you're getting into your own environment and you're starting to work these routes that maybe you haven't worked in a long time, or done them independently. Maybe when you get back into your environment, don't take a big challenge right away. Just take a small trip. But yes, I've also, had some interactions with my orientation and mobility person, instructor, but not in great detail yet, but I have a feeling I'll be reaching out to her a little bit here in the next couple of weeks with just some issues I'm having with the construction zones.
Oh, so true, so true. Because who knows what's going to happen with those construction zones? They could be up forever. They can change on a dime, and so it's always good to reach out and get that support. And that's good advice, like you said. Maybe don't take the big trips immediately. Sort of work your way into those things. So thanks for sharing that, Angela. So great. And Christy, we'll throw it to you. Any challenges that you faced after coming home from your program?
Boy, nothing like construction. That actually makes me a little bit queasy just thinking about that challenge. I did mention, like Ronnie loves to chase pretty much any small critter that moves. Honestly, the moment he arrived at my house, he went in the backyard and ate a frog. So Jamie knew right away that this was going to be something that we were going to be dealing with. And I would say the biggest challenge, other than things like that, is this is a pup that was with a person 24/7 since he was born, and he's used to always being with this person. So he's not a service dog, and I can't take him around with me. And that's the biggest challenge. Most of the time, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I don't actually necessarily have to go places most of the time. Or if I do, my husband works from home, so I'm able to just put him into my husband's office with a bone, and he's good to go for a little bit. But it can come up like it just did the other day, where the whole family has to leave together for a few hours, and that he definitely has some separation anxiety, and so I want to be able to plan some family vacations, but I'm a little bit worried about how he's going to handle, being with somebody else, or like how we're going to deal with that, because I can't really leave him for more than an hour. So I don't know. So that would probably be the one thing, is just, him being used to being someone's guide. And then now or I guess he was never actually a guide dog, but like he was always with somebody. And now he's not allowed to just come with me wherever I go.
Yes, very true. Christy, how old is Vonnie?
He's 2.5.
2.5. Gotcha. Yeah, those are, I mean, just such a challenge. And there's different things across the board with each program and what you face and how you go through things. So thank you all for being so open and sharing those challenges that you face. It's not always sunshine and roses, whether you're working with a dog or a cane or you've got a canine buddy. Sometimes there are difficulties, but it's so wonderful here to hear how, GDB is supportive and you can work through those things. My last question for you as we go through this today is, what advice would you have for someone who is thinking about applying for these programs, going through these programs? What kind of thing would you say to them as they're headed into this? Rosa, we'll throw it to you first.
Yeah, so for me, the advice I would give is take it step by step. It is a process, and I think the process of waiting is the longest, but also I would say work on your orientation and mobility skills. A guide dog enhances your independence, but doesn't replace cane skills, because there are a lot of times where certain environments are not safe for gemstone, such as this weekend I'm going to a concert and I will not be able to take gemstone. So I will have to rely on my cane, and knowing those cane skills are very important to get a guide dog and to then um, you have in your pocket when your guide dog isn't able to work, as well as I think being proficient in my cane skills helped the program run a lot smoother during the training process, because I was able to, you know, with my orientation and mobility that I had previously learned, cross streets with the guide dog. Like I only had to worry about learning the different commands with my guide dog rather than worrying about, oh, how am I going to cross the street? Because that was already something I knew. Also, another advice is I would say prepare for um, this new partnership. Um, having a guide dog is incredible. And it's really life changing. I know a lot of people say that, but it truly is. And lastly, I would say just um, take it slowly. This is going to be a long process, and I would say that it's for me, it was very worth the wait, and it was just an overall amazing experience through applying and then getting accepted and then receiving the call to get my guide dog, then meeting my guide dog. It's such an experience, and I just wish everyone luck if they are applying or thinking of applying. And yeah.
Rosa, great stuff. And I love what you said about enhancing but not replacing. That's so, so true and such on point advice. And I love how you gave those details about how it was helpful, especially in class. So wonderful stuff. Thanks for sharing that. Angela, we'll throw it to you. What kind of advice would you give to someone who is applying for this program?
I would reiterate the same things that Rosa just said, and also just throw out there, take a chance. I was lucky enough to be able to have orientation and mobility training available to me here in Minnesota, although it be very limited. And I knew, even with that training, that gave me that sense of, okay, I've got this, I know stuff, but I didn't really feel it and I didn't really trust it. And I just know myself and how I operate. And when I learned of the orientation and mobility immersion program and how that's really focused on with you and that trainer, and it's about you, and they meet you at where you're at, and that program is developed around you, that just kind of sold it for me. So I took the chance. I reached out, and I got into the program, and It's just having that immersion with that 25 plus hours one-on-one with that person, plus all of the other interactions and conversations and experiences that you have while you're there. It's just top notch. It's over the top. It's wonderful. So take the chance and be willing to wait, and also at the same time, no, you don't have to rush into it. None of this is a rush. So, things can change. Maybe you take the chance and then it's not the right timing, and that's okay too.
Take a chance. I love that advice. So, so true. It makes me think of the ABBA song, Take a Chance. But it's so true. And I love what you said about, you don't have to rush. Maybe the timing's not right just yet, and that's okay. So that's great advice. Thanks so much for sharing that, Angela. Christy, what about you? What advice would you have for someone who is thinking about applying for the Canine Buddy program?
Apply, just do it. Kind of similar to what everyone's been saying. I was nervous and hesitating all this time about, like, am I blind enough? Which is silly because my medical records say I'm blind, therefore I am. But just struggling with that identity, I think, has only like held me back in a way. Like, I'm doing fine, don't get me wrong, but if I just, all I kept thinking is, if I had a buddy as a kid, if I had a guide dog in college, I just, why wait, man? Just go for it. And if guide dogs thinks that you don't need it, they'll let you know. But apply anyway.
Oh yes, awesome. That's so so true. Just do it. Just go for it, I think
Mhm.
that is such great advice for us all in a lot of situations, but especially in this one. Obviously, Rosa mentioned that sometimes the waiting can be challenging, but it's definitely worth the wait. And so, yeah, if you're thinking about it, go for it. If there's anything that you want to do, man, just go for it and apply for that program. All right, Kirsten, I'm going to throw it back to you. Anything in the chat, questions or comments you want to mention?
We do not have anything in the chat, so if we do have anybody who hasn't been able to put anything in the Q&A, if we have some time, Derek, do we have some time for people to ask some questions live?
Of course, absolutely. That was my next thing.
Absolutely. So for those of you who are on a PC, the person who to raise your hand, it is Alt Y. For those of you on a Mac, it is Options Y. If you are calling in, it is *9, and I will unmute some people as we have some space. Give me just a sec.
Awesome. While we're waiting for that, I just want to say a huge thank you to our panelists. I will say this later, I'm sure, but I don't want to miss this chance. You all have been so open and vulnerable with sharing your stories, sharing the challenge that you have, the victories, the wins, the losses, all those things. It's just so great to hear these kinds of things. Stories are so impactful for us here and building this community at GDB. So I want to thank you for being so open with us all. Kirsten, I will throw it to you to see if there's anything we need.
Yes, we have Holly McKnight. We'll give her. Holly, you are unmuted. We've asked you to unmute. You're welcome to do so.
Okay. Am I there?
Yes, you are.
You
Yay. Hi Derek, long time no talk. It's been a minute.
are.
Um,
Indeed.
I was just gonna suggest, and I'm terrible with names, so I'm gonna get them in the wrong order. But for, is it Christy that has the canine buddy? Is that what I hear?
Yes, Christy.
Okay, cool. I did it right. Um, I would advise you to talk to your puppy raiser. Because before your dog went back for formal training, they had to be able to be reliably left alone for up to 4 hours in your house.
Oh, I'm sure
So,
he could do it. I know he did. I know for a fact that he did achieve all of his foster goals.
okay, cool.
But he's sliding a bit, and I have to say I'm a little guilty.
Uh-oh, here it
I didn't do
comes.
it. Nobody saw me do it. You can't prove anything. Also,
Yeah,
just
I
and that
mean,
I'm in the process of applying for my sixth dog, so I've done this for 32 years. And I've also done the OMI program. I did it last year. And still learn stuff. Um, but what I would do is, as I said, talk to your puppy raiser. If you're going to leave him, do it in little increments. In class, we're taught, okay, you leave your dog in your room for 5 minutes, then you come back. Then the next week, you leave him in there for a meal time or whatever. So do it in increments. That works really, really well.
Totally. Yeah, I remember definitely. I'm, leaving them for a little bit at a time. Of course, my guide dog's name is Koa. I didn't mention that earlier. It's Koa, Koa. He is a black lab. Well, as all the staff tell me, he's brindle, and that's very special. But yeah, he's definitely good about staying home. And I have teenagers in my house, so he likes to stay with them as well. Mostly because I'm sure he's getting food that he shouldn't get. But that's okay. Holly, thank you so much for that advice for Christy.
Also,
So
Derek,
true.
also, I was
Yes.
going to tell you when I was in class, I guess it was when I got Britta, I think it was. Cody Joe was in my class as one of the instructors. She
I,
wasn't
l-
mine, but
I
I was
love
like,
Cody Joe.
I know. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
I know Derek Daniels. She's like, oh my gosh, I love Derek and I love Koa. He's so cute.
Well, thank you so much. We've got another question.
Sure.
So this is a question for all of our panelists. How does your family reacted to your newfound independence?
Oh, excellent question. Rosa, we'll throw it to you. How's your family responded to this?
Yeah, so my family was actually very supportive throughout the whole process. Up until getting my dog, they were actually really excited for me, and Gemstone is definitely one of the the greatest highlights of our house right now. Everybody adores her, and yeah, it was very interesting having to, like teach them like, oh, when she's working, no petting, but they got it really quickly, and now like everything is super smooth and they just adore them. So
Awesome. Angela, what about you? How's your family responded to these skills that you're learning?
Sure. Well, I live by myself. So I don't have family that live right here with me or in my community, but my family outside of here, they've been able to see the growth I've had, especially in this year and a half, and especially over this last few months, and nothing but support. They recognize that challenges come with this vision loss, and they respect that, and it's not something we talk about a whole lot, but I think they're probably pretty happy that I'm back on this forward journey.
Oh, that's wonderful. And Christy, you mentioned, of course, you have husband and two little ones. So what about your family? How are they acclimating to this new lifestyle?
Well, they absolutely adore Vonnie. They drag him around. They're 5 and 7, so it's a pretty active boy era over here. But it's actually kind of neat because my two boys are fully sighted, and both of their parents are not, and it's kind of nice too in a way that they understand that, but this is more other people around them are noticing now too. So like the bus driver knows that this is a special dog. And so then they are able to talk to the bus driver about how their parents are both blind, which always asks a lot of questions. And it's kind of neat to see their journey with understanding how, we're different from other it's just neat. I don't know.
No, I love that. That's great. All right, Kirsten, anything else?
We do not have any more in the chat, nor do we have any raised hands. I think we just got one raised hand. We'll check that out. Susan, if you would like to ask a question, please feel free to raise your hand again. If not, no worries. All right, Susan, you're good to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're all
Yep.
set.
Cool. Okay, thank you. I have a guide dog, and my question is about the O&M program. If I am eligible for the program, may I take my dog with me?
That is a great question. When to chat with the admissions department, they'll be able to give you all of the specifics about that.
Oh, okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
feel free to reach out to them.
Yeah, absolutely. We always hesitate answering questions that staff should answer. So
I
I would hate
understand.
for somebody to go, well, Derek told me this. Like, well, who cares what Derek said? So, all right. Well, if that's all the hands raised and all the chat, I will just conclude us. I want to thank Rosa, Angela, and Christy for again being so open and honest with their stories of their experiences with the Guide Dog program, with the OMI program, and with the Canine Buddy program. It sounds to me like these programs do exactly what they're meant to do, and that's help to change lives and give more independence. So, again, Rosa, Angela, Christy, thank you for being here tonight. Any last words that you guys want to give? I want to throw it to you. I don't want to head out too quickly, but if there's anything you'd like to say, Rosa, anything that you want to conclude with tonight?
Not on my end. Thank you.
Awesome. And then, Angela, anything from you as a final word?
I just have to say thank you, and I am grateful.
Wonderful. And then, Christy, throw it to you for a final word.
Oh, same thing. So grateful. This guy is the best. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, on behalf of Kirsten and myself, my name is Derek. We want to thank everybody who is here tonight for the speaker series. Of course, Guide Dog for the Blind is the only school that I know of that has an alumni association that puts events on just like this. And so if you're here listening and enjoying this, make sure to check out those emails that list out all the events that happen, the chapters that meet. Of course, you can join a chapter and stay connected with the community because that's so, so important, as Rosa talked about, meeting those people and sharing in community. So again, thank you all for being here tonight. On behalf of everyone, I say thank you, and I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thanks.
Thank you all. Have a great night.